Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Good evening, Philippines. Good morning or good afternoon. Good day to the rest of the world. So, welcome back to Pageant Philippines live sessions. Yours truly, once again, Franz Rodriguez, your pageant correspondent. So, we are live simultaneously on Facebook page and, of course, on our YouTube channel. By the way, guys, if you are new to our YouTube channel, please do subscribe and click the bell notification and follow and like rather our Facebook page for more pageant updates. We are also on Instagram and TikTok, so please do follow us on all our social media platforms. It's just Pageant Philippines all over or across social media platforms. By the way, guys, you can also send stars to help us on our streaming subscription. So please do send stars to us. All right, guys, if you have any questions later, please don't hesitate to drop your questions down below at the comment section, and we will definitely ask your questions to our guests. So, I believe that you are all excited to meet our guests. So, our esteemed guest, by the way, for tonight is a Miss Earth USA 2022 candidate hailing from the state of South Carolina. So please do help me welcome our guest for tonight with a virtual applause. So give it up for Savannah Bethea, your Miss South Carolina Earth USA.
Hi, how are y'all?
I'm good. Thank you so much, Savannah. And how are you too?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm really excited about this interview.
Oh, likewise. I'm very much excited as well. And this is gonna be my second time to interview Miss Earth USA candidate. So last night I had Kimberly, from Alaska, and this time it's gonna be you. All right. So this is really exciting. Um, so Savannah, we don't know much about you. So can you just tell us more about you, Savannah? We wanted to know who is Savannah really?
Well, I'm Savannah Bethea, and I was born and raised in South Carolina. I'm an artist. I went to a Converse College. It was an all-women's college where I studied studio art, and I focused in metal sculpture and oil painting. And metal sculpture is really how I discovered how inspiring found material is. We couldn't afford a lot of the metal we needed to make the sculptures, so we'd take trips to the scrapyard, and that was my first introduction to recycling in a really creative way. I'm also really into music. I'm self-taught on guitar and ukulele, and right now I'm trying to learn the piano, but it's definitely a bigger challenge than the other two instruments. I love to sing. I love to songwrite. I'm a live-in nanny, and that's basically it. Those are my hobbies and my job, and of course, Miss Earth USA fills a lot of my time.
Oh, that's very interesting. I'm also into music actually. I play a guitar, but I don't really sing well. Just kidding. So that's the only musical instrument that I play. So I can definitely relate with you on that regard. So what I just wanted to know, what was the first song that you have played on a guitar?
The first song I ever learned to play on the guitar, I think it was Chandelier by Sia. It's
Uh-huh.
actually on guitar a surprisingly simple song, and that's the first one I was ever able to play fully and sing with at the same time.
Well, so how long have you been playing a guitar?
Let's see, I'm 27 now. I started at about 22.
Mm-hmm.
But you said that you're not a strong singer. I'm not an amazing guitar player. I'm self-taught on it and I love it, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I'm very skilled at it.
Yeah, well, me too. It's just actually a self-taught guitar player. So the only thing that I can do actually is strumming. I can't do plucking yet because I wasn't able to study further on how to pluck or somehow tuning or tune up a guitar. So I just can play it, and unfortunately, I can't be able to tune up a guitar.
Oh, I can help you with that. There's so many apps that
Mhm.
listen to it, like it listens to it like a microphone. So you pluck it and then it has a little meter and it
Uh-uh.
tells you which way to twist it. So,
Uh-uh.
and then it dings when you get it right. I'll send you the app after this so you can
Oh,
use
that's great.
it.
That's great. So I found someone who could really help me to improve my um, guitar guitar skills. Anyways, aside from the music, from your interest in music, what have you? Or do you hold any degree? By the way, Savannah.
Yeah, I do. I majored in studio art at Converse College, which is the historical women's college I mentioned. So that's my degree, studio art.
Oh, studio art. So it's more of. Oh, that is why you're very close to art art things, no?
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Good, good, good. And that's basically your profession up until now.
Yeah, it's kind of a profession. It's really hard to break into. So mostly for money, I live in nanny, which I love. I
Mhm.
love the girls I take care of. But yeah, hopefully one day I can make art a full-time professional job. But I've also kind of started redirecting my life since becoming Miss South Carolina Earth. I created this project, and through creating that project, I realized that I have a knack for marketing and project management. And I was talking to a mentor of mine, and I've told this story before, but I asked her, like, is what I'm doing a job? Because I love this work. And she said it's called nonprofit. And I'm like, then that's what I want to do. So moving forward, when my pageant days are behind me, I really want to take the projects I've been working on and turn them into real nonprofits and do that full time.
That's great. So, how did you jump into pageantry if you are being into to arts like singing, painting, and all that stuff?
Well, I grew up with a mom who did pageants. She competed in the Miss America system, and she always wanted me to do it growing up. But for some reason, I just wouldn't do it. I was just like, I don't think it's my thing. And when I got to art school, you can imagine, artists are really unique and quirky and really interesting looking. And everyone around me had blue hair and piercings. And, I had, shaved half my head, trying to look cool and artsy. And I just thought, I look like everyone else right now. And I want to explore a different side of myself. I was a little bit of a tomboy, and I really wanted to explore a more feminine side of myself. And also, I'm a huge fan of drag. RuPaul's Drag Race is one of my favorite shows, and I love the glamour and I love the gowns. And I thought, I'm going to explore my feminine side. I'm going to explore my glamorous side. And I got into it. And, since then, my reasons for doing it have grown so much. But that's really why I started. I just wanted to see a different side of myself.
So, where the hell love you if you don't love yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I do love as well the RuPaul Drag Race, and I've been following RuPaul Drag Race ever since. It's just that there's no new season yet, right?
No, there's not a new season yet, but it's coming up. I think it airs January 8th,
Mm-hmm.
just after the Miss Earth USA pageant. I think the new season is
Hopefully,
airing in
hopefully we can
America.
see
Yeah.
that. So that's gonna be the 14th season, right?
Yeah.
I hope they would also make another season for like all stars and at the same time for celebrity because I've been following that actually.
Yeah, I would love to see an all winners season.
Hmm.
Every winner from every season competing against each other. That would be so cool.
should you be given a chance to somehow join a RuPaul's Drag Race, would you love to do so?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. That would be so fun. I don't know if I could keep up, that takes so much skill, the costume design, the money, the makeup that they do, how they completely reshape their face. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good at makeup, but that's a whole nother ballgame. I would absolutely love to try it if I had like a mentor or if they let me partner with like an existing drag queen. I
Yeah.
think I would choose Gigi Good. She's one of my favorite when it comes to style. I would totally
Yeah.
go for it, but on my own, I don't think I'm there yet. You know what I mean?
I understand that. Yeah, Gigi Good is actually very fashionable. I really love her fashion and how she transforms actually herself, right?
Oh yeah, I love her and Simone and Rosie Thorne. They're all from House of Avalon. I'm a huge fan of all of them. The looks that they make, and they make most of them themselves, and I just think that is so cool. I've always wanted to learn to sew.
And what about Manila Luzon?
Manila Luzon. I don't remember which one that one is.
Oh, you have to look for Manila Luzon. Yeah, she used to be the partner of the trees. Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I know Latrice. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, by the way, what was your reason for joining Miss Universe? I'm sorry, Miss Earth, USA 2022, or the Miss Earth in general.
I really love what it asked of the contestants. When you are competing for Miss Earth USA, it's really almost like a full time job in itself. And I've not really, although I've enjoyed other pageant system, I haven't really felt so involved and had such high expectations, from another system. And I love the high expectations, that
Mhm.
we're expected to do everything a normal beauty queen does, but we're also expected to go a step farther, get our hands dirty, get out in our community, and really try to make a difference, educate ourselves, learn more, grow. I mean, everything about this system sets you up to just become a better person as you get closer to nationals.
That's right. And one thing that personally that I like about Miss Earth as well is that um, their their consistency when it comes to their advocacy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love that we get a freedom to, like, as individuals, they don't just tell us these are the projects and these are the issues you work towards. We get the creativity to decide, which issues we care about. Maybe they're specific to our state and
Mhm.
work in our own way, create our own project, execute it however we want to make a difference that way. And I love that little bit of structure, but also that creativity to execute it.
Wow, that's great. So we will definitely talk more about your advocacy later on. That's definitely very much related to your art. Is that correct?
Sort of. My main project is called Jeans for Teens, and there is an aspect of art built into it. But I'm
Mhm.
excited to tell you more about it. It's a lot to tell in that project, but I worked super hard on it, so I'm really excited to explain it to you.
All right, so we have a lot of time to talk about that later on. So this time, we will be doing this kind of part. It's basically part of getting to know you. So it's just a game which we call Have You Ever Had? So when you are ready, Savannah, so let's get it in.
Okay, I'm ready. A little
All right.
scared, but I'm ready.
Okay, so here we go. Savannah, this is just somehow a little very I don't know if it's more of I don't know how to say it. Let's just get into it. So have you ever had something um, embarrassing moment that ever happened to you?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you're going to be like, this was so long ago. Just get over it, girl. But I was in second grade and I had zoned out, and the teacher was moving through these worksheets with the rest of the class. And I zoned out. I was like daydreaming, thinking about something, probably like horses. That's what I was obsessed with. And then I come back to and I look around and I realize everybody's got these sheets filled out and we've been learning something new and there's no way I'm going to catch up. So I just panic and I start writing and my pencil breaks. And without thinking, I stand straight up and I'm holding my pencil like this and I scream, my pencil broke! But it was completely involuntary. So after I screamed it, I was like, The whole class was silent, staring at me, and I'm just standing there having yelled this like a maniac. And I had no control over doing it. It was like my body just involuntarily stood up and screamed, "My pencil broke." But I think about that still. Like if I'm in the shower, I'll be thinking about it and I'll be like, "Oh my God, cringe." I feel like all of those kids still remember that.
Yeah, I think so because that's basically happening as well to students. But actually, when I had this opportunity to teach young kids actually, sometimes it really happens that the kid or somehow a child would suddenly scream for no like out of nowhere. So now I understand why. Maybe because they're actually doing some daydreaming or some or
Yeah.
whatever. All right, and how about this one? Have you ever had drunk a soda pop, then you laughed and had it come out your nose?
Absolutely. Yes, that's 100% happened to me. My brother, my older brother, to me is the funniest person in the world. And growing up with two older brothers and no sisters, doing things like trying to make you laugh while you're drinking milk or drinking soda and have it come out your nose was like a goal. I think that's happened to me like 20 times in my life when been around my brothers.
I never had experienced that yet. So how does it feel?
Oh, it hurts. It hurts, especially when it's soda because there's all that bubble and gas and stuff in there. Yeah, it hurts. And it's
Like
embarrassing.
that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope it will never happen to me. Oh,
Yeah,
it's
I hope
Christmas
so. I
time.
hope so too. I don't wish it on anybody.
Oh yeah. So it's Christmas time, Savannah. So I'm pretty sure that you've been receiving gifts. Now, have you ever had regifted or recycled a gift?
Mm, no, I don't think I've regifted something someone gave me that I didn't want. I always try to just be thankful for what I've got and make use of it. I've passed down things that are important to me, like something that belongs to me, and I'm like, now I want you to have it, and let them know that it's sentimental to me or important. I've done that before, but no, I've never just been like, here, I got this for you, but it's low key a gift I got from someone else and didn't want.
Like you own it, like you bought it for the person, something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, no, I've never done that.
But you know what? I also do that sometimes. It's like when I have something that when I receive something that it doesn't fit me, especially the size. Like they gave me a smaller size than my size, then definitely I'll be giving it someone. It's just like, but I don't definitely tell them that or tell to someone that I'm giving it to them, like I bought it for them personally. But I receive this from somebody else. However, I cannot. It doesn't fit me, so I'll be
Yeah.
giving it to you. So this is very valuable and sentimental to me. So please take care of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
especially clothes. Yeah. Mhm. Okay. How about this? Have you ever had paid for a stranger's meal or drink without them knowing it was you?
Yes, I have. A few years ago, I was in line at a, fast food place in the morning getting something on the way to work or something like that. And the woman in front of me had paid for my food. So I paid for the food for the person behind me. And I think that went on for like 5 cars. I think like everybody was just kind of paying it forward to the person behind
Paid forward. Mhm.
Yeah, and I do that at toll booths too. When I drive from Georgia to my mom's house, I have to go through 2 toll roads, and it's only $2. So I try to give them like $5 and say, hey, cover the person behind me.
Wow, that's so sweet of you. Hmm. And it's a good practice actually. There is this a well, I don't know if it's really very religious, but we used to say that whenever you give, then you will definitely receive more.
Oh yeah, yeah, I've heard that before too. Like
Mhm.
karma.
Yes, yes. How about this one? Have you ever had your cell phone rung at an embarrassing moment, especially that you are working for an art?
I know that has happened to me like during an exam, but I'm usually really careful about that. Like, and you know what? I'm silencing my phone right now. That would be me being like, oh, I'm always so careful about it, and then my phone goes off. That would be horrible. But I've been pretty careful about that, you know, in my adult life, making sure that my phone's off when I'm somewhere important where it shouldn't be interrupting.
Yeah. And I think that actually reminded you to check on your phone.
Yeah, yeah. How embarrassing would that be if I was like, oh no, I am always so responsible about that, and then ring ring. That would be the worst.
How about this one? Have you ever had kept or pictures or photos of you because you felt awkward when you're looking at it?
Have I deleted them?
Kept, at least kept or somehow deleted. Yeah, that's right. Mhm.
Oh, because I kept a picture I didn't like of myself?
Yes.
Oh, no way. No way. If I don't like it, I don't want anybody knowing that exists. We're getting rid of that right now. That's gone. Yeah, no proof of that. If I don't like it, like if someone else takes it on their phone, I'll be like, give it to me. I delete it and then I go to the deleted folder where you have to re-delete it. I'm making sure it's gone so they
Just to
can't.
make sure.
Yeah, so they can't like re-download it. Yeah.
Okay, how about this one? Back when you were studying, have you ever had copied an answer from your seatmate?
Hmm. Definitely in high school. I definitely did that in math a few times. I'm terrible at math, but in college, no, took it very seriously. Plus, they scared us. I mean, you got one chance. If you were caught cheating, if you were caught doing anything wrong, you were kicked out, no questions asked. So I was not going to risk that. So I tried to keep everything my original stuff.
That's really very strong rules, huh?
Oh
Because
yeah, it's a strong
because
rule.
there
Well,
are
they don't
still
want it. They don't want anybody cheating. That's.
mm,
I mean, that makes sense. How can you learn if you're copying?
yeah,
So I get it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I hope it applies to all schools.
Yeah.
Mhm. All right, how about this one? Have you ever had lied about your birthday just to get a free dessert?
Have I done that? I feel like I tried and it didn't work. Yeah, I feel like
They
I
ask you for a
tried
valid ID.
that. No, I think they just didn't believe me. I think I was like, hey, it's my birthday too. Like just being funny about it. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
Because you're in the Philippines, if you tell them that it's your birthday and just so you wanted to get a just so you wanted to get a free dessert, normally I would have to do that. I would do that as well, but then they won't believe it because they'll be asking for for um for a valid ID.
I don't think that there's that many places that do that anymore. I remember when I was a kid, like my dad would take us to Shoney's on our birthday. So just if it was your birthday, you got to go to Shoney's with dad, just you two. And then they come out and they'd like clap and they'd sing a song and you got a free dessert. But since then I haven't really seen it. And I worked in restaurants a lot throughout college. That was really, how I supported myself. And people would come up and be like, so it's my birthday. And I'd be like, awesome. So and like we just didn't have anything to give them, just like happy birthday. But I don't know that many places that actually have the free desserts anymore.
Oh, I see. But here in the Philippines, free desserts are normally given on a on an eat all you can restaurant. All right, so this must be the last one.
Okay, I'm ready
All right, have you ever had made up a story to get out of a traffic ticket?
to get out of a traffic ticket. Nope. I had the most boring answers because like everything I haven't done. Nope, I've never made up a story. I've told the truth and made it worse. Like I was
Mhm.
late for gymnastics. And here, since then I've learned when you get pulled over here, they go, are you in a hurry? That's a trick. You're supposed to
Uh-huh.
say no. If you say yes, you think saying yes, they're going to be like, oh, they understand. They're human. They've been there too. They're going to let me go because I'm running late. No, that tells them, oh, you were speeding on purpose. You're supposed to be like, no, I'm not in a hurry. But I told them honestly, I was like, I'm late for gymnastics. I have the state meet this weekend. It's really important to me. I got to get there. And I got a ticket and it was my first ticket ever. And I just like sat there and cried for like 20 minutes and before I finished going to gymnastics. And I was so scared the whole day because I was going to have to go home and tell my parents I got my first ticket. And I'd been driving for like 2 weeks.
Good, good, good. At least you find out you've got a valid reason to do so. All right.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your honesty, Savannah, and I really appreciate it. At least we were able to get to know you somehow. Right. So we would like to give a shout out to our viewers right now. Hi, Ralph Sambat. Hi, thank you for watching once again. There
Oh, hey,
you
Ralph.
go. Oh, you know Ralph.
I do know Ralph. I met him in Orlando. A bunch of the Miss Earth USA girls went to Orlando for World Cleanup Day, and he was there, and he was taking pictures, and I met him. And he's just like, he supports all the girls. If you make a post, he's going to be the first one to like it. He's always going to comment. Sometimes he just sends you an emoji and just tells you he hopes you have a great day, or that he's proud of you when you put out some new work. So, hey, Ralph, thanks for watching. He's always there for all of us.
All right. So, thank you so much thank you so much once again, Ralph, for watching, and I really do appreciate your time. Oh, by the way, Ralph, if you would like to give us a gift, you can send stars. Just kidding, Ralph. All right. So we also have tonight. How do I pronounce this? Tinal. Is that Tinal? Lunis. I'm sorry, I don't. I cannot actually read this properly. I can't pronounce it right. Miss White Manula, Yuya. Is that right? So thank you so much for watching. Hello to you, and who? There you go. Ralph actually replied. You're welcome, Savannah. Mhm. And now, Savannah, we are moving on to our in-depth interview. So we have the first question here coming from Ralph himself.
If Mother Nature was to give you
All
the
right,
power of nature, how would, oh, am I not supposed to read it?
and that's okay. That's okay.
How would you
So,
use it to protect the environment?
all right. So he's asking if Mother Nature was to give you the power of nature, how would you use it to protect the environment?
Hmm.
This is a good question.
If I had the power of nature to protect the environment.
Mhm.
I don't know. Can nature do that? Because isn't it like we're the problem? I guess if I could control nature like Mother Nature would, I would stop things before they happened. You know, like tsunamis and tornadoes and hurricanes. We just had a huge amount of tornadoes, bust through across the states. A lot of people were hurt. So if I'd have been Mother Nature at that moment, I definitely would have stopped those for sure.
All right. Yeah. It's really very difficult to get a power or to make use of a power to make use of power for the nature. And I'm not pretty sure as well what power of nature that could definitely um, could we acquire as well. So yeah. Mhm. Guys, if you have any questions, please do ring our comment section with your questions so we could ask Savannah. All right. Okay, there you go. So Savannah, there is actually a well, it's been an how shall I say an ongoing conversation or an issue on an environment which we call climate change. So it has been an ongoing issue actually worldwide. So what can you say about climate change?
Well, I know here in America, there are so many people that doubt its existence. I remember watching Greta Thunberg speak about the environment, and she said, she was visiting America, and she said, over here, it's a theory, but where I'm from, it's a fact. And obviously, I believe it's a fact. So I think having people that don't even believe it exists is where the problem starts. Because in America, the people are supposed to help decide what happens in our government, what happens with our legislation. So if we have people that are not fighting for the change we need to see in legislation, then we can't hold companies accountable. We can't get communities to change. We can't start moving towards new ways of living that get us away from things like fossil fuel and, get us towards things like solar power. So that's a huge problem. And then also we as people have a responsibility to make positive environmental choices. And there are small choices that we can make every day, like switching to like the laundry detergent I use. It's by Earth Breeze, and it comes in biodegradable packaging. You can rip it up and bury it, and it's a sheet that just dissolves. So there's no plastic jugs and there's no chemicals. And those are small changes. It's 20 cents a load that, wouldn't affect somebody no matter, what socioeconomic status they have. But some of the most impactful choices you can make are not available to a huge portion of my country. They're only available to the rich. They're luxuries, like driving electric is a luxury. Going completely vegan is a luxury. If you're, a mom struggling to pay for the groceries for your family, you can buy a lot more packaged foods, processed foods, and make that stretch than you can vegetables. So I also think we need to work to bring affordable and accessible choices to people that are just kind of at, above, and below the poverty line, because that's so much, that's a growing portion of this country. And so we need to make use of all of the people that we have, and doing that can help us do that.
So you mentioned a while ago about veganism. Do you think that becoming a veganism could also help the environment?
I absolutely do. I absolutely think being vegan is a great choice. It's just not super accessible for everybody. But if you can afford it, it's such a positive choice. We know that livestock is a huge contributor to greenhouse gases. So if you aren't contributing to the demand for livestock and for meat being sold in grocery stores, you're doing your part for the environment.
Hmm. And you mentioned also about if the government could only give some options for us to somehow improve. Could you mention at least one option that you think is very necessary at this time?
Well, I'd like to see the government kind of control corporations that are, producing things with chemicals that aren't as, um, I would say, policed as they should be. For an example, there's a wetland preserve called the Congaree Wetland Preserve, and it's in South Carolina. And near it, there is basically some kind of toxic waste plant, or they're wanting to build it there, and they're saying that this company has had so many spills in the past. We're not willing to let that, be a risk to preserve a piece of land that we're trying to take care of. Um, so if I think the government should do things like that, like follow up, your company has been trusted in the past and has spills and has allowed toxic chemicals to get into our environment, into our air, into our groundwater. You are not allowed to operate in this way anymore. And I think we kind of just give companies a slap on the wrist. And I want to see the government create legislation that holds companies accountable for what they do to the environment, and watches what they do going forward, and doesn't just give them a slap on the wrist and hope they do better.
Okay, so if you're going to somehow pick one of the environmental issues or problems in your state right now, which is in South Carolina, what should it be that needed to be addressed?
In South Carolina,
Yes, that's right.
well, when I was learning about what my state is doing for the environment, I started with Google, and an article came up that was, I believe, on the cover of the state paper. And the title was South Carolina Has No State Plan for Climate Change. So I think a state plan for climate change would be a great place to start. I've mentioned this before to other people, but Charleston, a town here in South Carolina, has developed its own green plan. And they're creating jobs that come from their efforts for the environment, and they're preserving their finite resources, and they're protecting their land because the state isn't leading in that way. So I really want to see the rest of the state kind of follow suit, and also, reach out to our government officials and let them know that South Carolina wants a plan to help preserve our area and help do our part for the rest of the country.
Oh, that's great. So let me just give you a clap for that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And of course, we believe that everywhere in the world is basically experiencing some environmental issues. Now, if you could mention at least one or what or somehow the principal issue that you wanted to address globally, what would it be?
Well, what I've been looking at, what's been a big part of my time as Miss South Carolina Earth has been textile waste reduction and landfill diversion. Landfills are affecting areas in all countries. And I've been really intrigued by companies and people that are not only trying to cut down on the waste, but find a way to use what is in the landfills now. And since landfills are in every country, this is a global issue and something I think everyone should focus on because we can find a way to make use of this basically ruined land. When something becomes a landfill, it's ruined. But I found this. I found out about this story where they built a solar farm on top of a landfill. So the solar farm could power more than 500 homes. So it's basically a whole town, at least a small town. And by doing this, they've switched to solar energy, which is more environmentally friendly. They've made use of a previously ruined piece of land, that landfill, and they haven't caused any deforestation to create this new solar farm. And that's so interesting because as far as I was concerned, I thought when something becomes a landfill, that's it. That piece of land cannot be used anymore. But it can, and it can be used for good and kind of help reverse the effects of the landfill itself. So that's something I'm really interested in, is both keeping things out of landfill, but finding some of these creative ways that people are going to take the trash that we've created and try to make use of it so we don't have to produce more.
Yeah, actually, some landfills are actually being turned to fertilizers. Like, uh, I don't know if how do they do it. It become a fertilized solution, fertilized soil, and then sometimes here in the Philippines, there's some landfill that are being turned into like a forest, like a park. So they plant trees or anything that's basically could grow on that because what they do actually is that the dump or the field are actually being decomposed, something like that, or they burned the fields, and eventually it become like a fertilizer, and it becomes like a good soil for plants.
Yeah, and I think that's so fascinating, and it's so important because I mean, have you ever seen like the pictures of landfills, how massive they are?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen them? Isn't it
Yes,
shocking?
that's right. Yeah, that's right.
So when you really think about how many there must be in the world, how much of that waste and land is basically created mountains all over our world, like the idea of finding some way to make use of that and getting it out of the way and not just like stop using landfills, not stop contributing, but finding what we're going to do with all of this waste and giving
That's
that
right.
land purpose again. I just think that's so interesting.
Yeah, there are a lot of landfills actually here in the Philippines, and however, there are two landfills here in the Philippines that are very polluted actually. So we have one in Tondo, Manila, and we have one in Payatas, Quezon City. So these are actually big cities, having those mountains of landfill actually, and this the well, one of the problems actually here in Manila and in Quezon City as well. It's basically in Metro Manila. So the government have or has no I don't know if they already have plans on how to do it actually properly to make use of those because um, as of the moment, there are actually some informal settlers around this landfill, and it's not basically healthy on these people living, residing around this landfill. So I
Yeah.
hope as well that the Philippine government would also do something about these landfills in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Mhm. So that was really great, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Savannah, there are people who don't believe global warming. Do you even experience global warming at first hand?
Have I experienced global warming firsthand?
Yeah.
I think so, absolutely. Yeah. South Carolina is hot. It's
Hmm.
known for being hot. Our state capital is Columbia, and the catchphrase there is famously hot. And growing up as a kid, I got used to that. But we've had record breaking temperatures every year for I think like the past 6 years, something ridiculous like that, just showing that it is getting hotter and hotter and hotter, and we can really feel it here. And also, with the ice caps melting, a lot of really historic and amazing southern cities that I love, like New Orleans, Charleston, Savannah, Georgia, they're vulnerable. And some scientists predict that they could be underwater by 2030 because of the rising sea levels. And that's one of the reasons why Charleston is being so proactive, because they're one of the most vulnerable in the state. So I've absolutely seen all of these places in the South, and especially South Carolina, affected by global warming firsthand.
So you mentioned a while ago that as your state is actually a record breaking for um for its warmness, for its hotness, and
Well,
so
yeah. Well, each year, it breaks the record from the previous year. So it like last year was the hottest summer we'd had in a certain amount of years, and this year beat last year.
all right. So you mean just in the state?
Yeah, just for our
Mhm.
state.
So you if South Carolina has this really very hot temperature, or it's hot if in general. So have you also experienced this wildfire, right?
I don't think we've had too many wildfires because we're also extremely humid. So there
Mm-hmm.
is a lot of water in the air. We're not as dry as California. And that's what a lot of people say when they come down here. Their hair explodes, from all the humidity, and the air feels heavier. It feels a little bit hotter than it actually is, but the humidity has kind of saved us in that regard. So luckily, no wildfires here. But I definitely have been amazed in the worst way, when I watch the news and I see how bad it's getting in California.
What particular environmental issue that you are actually experiencing in South Carolina right now that you believe that it's part, or it's basically the cause of global warming?
The rising sea levels in the southern towns that are on the coast that I've mentioned, they're particularly concerned. Even the real estate market there is changing because they are expecting that the state itself will get smaller as the sea levels rise. The sea will basically start swallowing up the state. And a lot of people are really concerned about that. And that's what I mentioned earlier. And I really hate that because the towns that are the most vulnerable are some of the most historic to the South and America in general. So not only will be losing, obviously people's homes, but our history.
That's right. So, what do you think have been your state doing for this anyway? So, though you have already mentioned earlier that your state has no plans for or has no movement for environmental issues. So, if you're calling to them, let me just redirect my question. If you're going to talk to them, given a chance to talk to them, what would you tell to your governor?
Um, I would ask them, first I want to get to understand why we haven't had more movement. We know this. We know that there's an issue. And we know that South Carolina, being a state on the coast, is vulnerable. So I would kind of want an understanding and an explanation as to what exactly is the holdup. It can't be because you don't believe it's happening. We know it's happening. We see the real estate market reflected. We see people moving. We see people worried. So I'd want to start there, and then I would just, add to the pressure of letting them know that we need to take action. We need to start being a part of the solution and stop being a part of the problem. But I actually can answer your original question. Although the state itself, the state government is not doing as much as I'd like to see, the people are. There are, like I said, Charleston's taken it upon themselves to create their own green plan. And then there's an environmental law group that their whole thing is they review basically when people apply to build in areas and make sure that they're not going to build on a piece of land that we need to protect, and that we need to conserve. And so we also have other groups like the Congaree Preservation Society that's protecting wetlands. So I've seen so many groups and people step up in places where the state government hasn't. So I'm really proud of our state. I think the people do care, and I think the people are working. And I've researched so many groups in the state that are doing their part.
Oh, that's great. And I really hope that they will be able to hear this as well, so that they could also reconsider or consider to make some movements for your state. All right, so guys, let me just let me just encourage you to please do drop your questions down below. I know that you are all guys watching right now, so please do drop your questions down below. Um, so that we can definitely ask, so that we can ask it to Savannah anything that you would like to know about her, or even you would like to ask her. Okay, Roxanne, yeah, there you go. Okay, anyways, you have no questions yet?
Any questions? Come on, I'm dying to hear your questions. I'm dying to answer them. It can be silly. It can be anything. Like, what's your favorite movie? What's your favorite color? What's your favorite kind of dog? I've got an answer for you.
All right. So Savannah, there are some people. Sorry. There are some people, or yeah, there are some individuals who don't really believe on climate change or the global warming. So, if you would be given a chance to talk with one of these individuals, what would you tell them?
What I missed the first part of your question. What did you say?
Yeah, there are some individuals who don't really believe on climate change or global warming. So if you were given a chance to talk with one of these people, what would you tell him?
I would start by showing them what's happened in their personal state. Let's say it's someone in South Carolina. I would start by showing them just how much the temperatures have risen each year. I would start by showing them the research I've read from the scientists, showing them that states like South Carolina or towns like Charleston are going to be underwater by 2030 if we don't make a change. I mean, presenting them with the facts is where I'd start, because you'd be surprised about how many people make, life altering decisions based on a Facebook post. And they, to them, that is their research. They really think that that's information. So I'd start by showing them the actual information, and, showing who wrote this information, where it came from, trying to back it up as much as possible. Because I think that's the biggest problem, is not having proper research. And that's why people are maybe a little misinformed.
All right, thank you so much for that. Yeah, there are actually some people who don't believe in it, and yeah, I'm not pretty sure if they are misinformed or they just don't believe in it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I just really hope that these people will also get to realize how climate, climate is being affected by us people as well.
Hmm.
All
Absolutely.
right.
Me too.
So we have a question here coming from Mark Kabage or Mark Kabag. I don't know how if that's correct. Mark Kabage, I guess. He's a Filipino. So, how will you encourage world leaders, especially big countries like the U.S., to take action towards climate change, climate justice rather?
I think it starts with people. I don't think people reach out to their government as much as they used to. There's so many resources we have to be able to find how to contact our government. And, here in the States, our representatives are supposed to be acting on our behalf. They're supposed to be doing what the people in the state want. They're just a figurehead that is supposed to act based on what we hope to see for our state. But they can't do that if they don't know what we want. So we have to reach out to our government personally, send them a letter, send them an email, sign a petition. And there's so many great organizations you can join that help you do that. Like the World Wildlife Fund has a lot of petitions you can sign and helps you find ways to contact your own senator. So does the Oceans Future Society. So I think if everybody just kind of made their voices heard, at least in America, that's how we could get our leaders to listen. And I'm not super sure on how government works in all other countries, but I think their people's voices being heard is undeniable. You can't ignore that for long.
Mhm. That's right. And are you connected, or are you have you been connected with or involved with World Wildlife?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm actually a panda ambassador. So
Oh,
I'm really excited about that, and I've made a lot of use of their website as well as the Oceans Future Society, where I'm a member, about a lot of petitions that I can get involved in, and about exactly how to phrase things and word things when I reach out to my local government, and articles that I can trust, that are properly sourced, and information that I have no problem putting my faith in and using to educate myself and others. So those have been fantastic.
great. So thank you so much for that, Mark, um for your questions.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Mark. I appreciate it.
Well, there's a question in here. It's not actually related to what we're talking about, to what we've been talking. So let me just pull this up. She's asking, do you have any plans to join Miss USA State Pageant?
I competed at the Miss South Carolina USA pageant last year, and I actually made top 15, which was my goal. So I was very proud of that. But I am 27 years old. I'll be 28 on January 20th. So I'm not going to be eligible for really anything after this pageant. So I would be eligible for Miss Earth if I were lucky enough to win Miss Earth USA. But so next year's cycle, I'll be too old. So that's why I'm really giving it everything I've got this year. Like if I'm not the one, if I'm not chosen, I don't want to look back and say that I didn't work as hard as I could. So I'm really going for it.
All right, there you go. Thank you so much, Wang Wang, for that question. All right, so we have another question here coming from Mark. What will you tell to victims of climate change, like typhoon, forest fire, or the wildfire, just like what I mentioned earlier, victims, and all that stuff, who who are now struggling to start their lives again?
It's so hard to find what to say to someone, like for
Mhm.
instance, who's lost their house to a wildfire. How do you say something that's going to make that better? So that would be really hard, but I would just tell them that, that there's people like me and there's people like you and a lot of you out there watching that care and want to make a difference. And we're doing the best that we can to hopefully end this kind of stuff and see real change in the future. Um, but there's just not much you can say when somebody has been through such a horrific event, like a typhoon or a forest fire has taken over their home. But I would just try to be there for them as much as I could and offer any help that I can. And, that would just encourage me even more to make sure that I'm out in my community and trying to get minds changed and trying to get work done.
I definitely agree with you on that, Savannah, because people experiencing on this kind of you know work of life, it's really very difficult. It's really very difficult for them to um, to reflect as well on what really had happened and to masticate what really had happened during the well, especially during the event of the typhoon of these actual climate changes that we are talking about. And you are actually correct. They don't actually need a word from us, but the presence is really very necessary for these people.
Thank you for that question, Mark. I appreciate that.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark, for that question. Please do come read us with your questions. All right. Okay. So let's move forward. Can you tell us, Savannah, the difference between climate change and global warming, if there is any?
Yeah, so climate change has always happened. The world has always, changed in its environment, and, it's cooled, it's heated, we've had ice ages, but never at this rate. And that is what global warming is, the rate at which this is happening because of the greenhouse gases that we have contributed to, because of the unnatural things that we've done to this world. So that's the difference to me.
I see. There you go. So what else can we say?
Oh, about that.
All right. So, Savannah, can you tell us more about your advocacy? You've already gave us a glimpse of your advocacy a while back. So, can you just give us a blast of it?
Yes. I'm actually really excited to talk about this. So, my main focus is called Jeans for Teens. But I have a couple others that I'd love to talk about too. But Jeans for Teens is actually a project that I started back in high school, so like forever ago, with the goal of collecting quality but fashionable, trendy denim to donate to teenagers because I know how important personal style was to me when I was a teenager. I mean, at that age, you're shaping your identity and you're trying to figure out how to express yourself. And I'd spoken to homeless shelters and foster programs in my town who told me that, babies are donated a lot to, the elderly are donated a lot to, but teens are totally skipped over. So they're picking out their first day of school outfit, from a pile of kind of unwanted adult clothes that are out of style. And I wanted them to have things that they could feel cool in. And I wanted to create a project where I was donating with respect, donating with respect for those people who are going to be getting those things. So I made some rules that, whatever I was collecting, whatever you donated needed to be quality, and it needed to be trendy, and it needed to be like new as possible. But of course, so many people donated things that they would never wear themselves, that I couldn't possibly donate with respect. And I was left with all this excess denim. Like, what am I going to do with it? So, in expanding the project, I discovered a program called Blue Jeans Go Green, and it's by Cotton Incorporated, who is a nationwide company here in America. And they would basically have these drop off locations. You could go to like the Levi store and drop off a couple pairs of jeans. But I was, going to be collecting hundreds and hundreds of pounds of denim. So I kind of annoyed them a little bit on Instagram. And eventually I got them to agree to speak with me. And I got to have a meeting with the director of marketing of this national company, which felt insane. Here I am, just like one woman running this textile project out of my kitchen, and I'm being treated as an equal by this, director of marketing of this huge company, which felt amazing because she listened to what I had to say. And it took a few meetings, but I convinced her that we should work together. So now I collect denim in every condition, totally ruined to brand new, just scraps of denim, and I sort through it. So the denim that is quality and trendy is still donated to teenagers in need, and everything else is recycled through this initiative. And it's turned into sustainable home insulation and thermal packaging for food and pharmaceutical shipment. And what I love about the project is that the insulation can be recycled over and over and over again. So this sets up the denim that we save for a permanent life cycle of use and keeping it out of a landfill forever, where it will take 200 plus years to break down. And when it does, it will release methane. So it's about textile diversion. But also some of the denim that I'm collecting will be used to make an art piece for a gallery show that I'm curating, featuring myself and other artists who make works of art by rethinking the way that they recycle. One woman makes dresses out of opera tickets, and one guy has all these Amazon boxes. He's ordered things all year, and he makes sculptures with it. And the pieces will both draw attention to recycling and the amount of waste we produce, especially during lockdown because of COVID, but also that, recycling can be done in a creative way and that the art materials can be anything around us. So I love that aspect of it, but I run it by myself and I've grown it from nothing to 10 states. So 10 of the 50 states, I'm so proud of that. We've collected more than a half ton of denim. And I've also gotten companies like Billiam Jeans and Raleigh Denim Workshop. And those are companies that make blue jeans here in my country. And they've given me their scraps from production. So we're covering pre-consumer waste and post-consumer waste. And we're making use of this stuff and being charitable at the same time. I mean, I'm killing like 3 birds with 1 stone. And it's been so much work, but I mean, this project has been my passion in life. I mean, this is what I'm going to be doing for the rest of my life. And I've met so many women that have acted as mentors to me that want to help me grow this and help me make this even more impactful. Because that was my number one goal is when I started this, is whatever project I do has got to be truly impactful. It cannot just be performative. It cannot just, appear to be helpful. I want to make a real impact. And that was what I kept in the forefront of my mind and what kept me working. And I really think that it's made a big difference. And I can't wait to watch it grow even more. So that has been my main advocacy, but I have a couple of other small ones as well.
This is really amazing.
Oh, I'm glad you think so. At first I was like, am I going on too long about it? I hope I'm not boring them. But I'm just so
Of
passionate
course
about it. I
not.
can talk about it for an hour.
Of course not. Yeah. But this is absolutely an amazing advocacy. I know you've heard about this issue on fashion. That fashion is um, actually sharing a part or somehow a chunk in environmental issues. So, um, well, making jeans for teens is actually a good idea, because instead of throwing those jeans, instead of throwing those scraps, right, you
Mhm.
are making it to another masterpiece that that can be seen as art, and eventually it wouldn't just stay there. It wouldn't just decompose, or could affect our environment, because it's already a masterpiece.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's definitely true. It addresses the textile waste issue that we're having. Textile waste is one of the fastest growing categories of landfill waste that we have. And that's partly due to the fast fashion industry, which is obviously a huge problem. We all been hearing about that and reading about that. Fast fashion and just textile waste in general, over purchasing is really contributing to what's happening with textile waste and our landfills. So this project is really just trying to both divert some of that textile from ending up in a landfill, but also educate people about, more responsible purchases in the future, and, ways to reuse the materials that you have to prevent you from having to rely on the production of more.
That's right. That's right, actually. And yeah, I hope that this will also reach Philippines or other countries worldwide.
I'm hoping so. I want it to be an international project. I
Mhm.
really do. I want it to grow as big as it possibly can and be as impactful as possible.
Absolutely, it's a great advocacy, Savannah, and I hope, and I'm really wishing you all the best on this, regardless that you win, just like you have mentioned, or eventually, or you win or not, at least you already have this kind of advocacy that's really very impactful, and it's not only helping the fashion industry or the your art. How shall I say, your art profession. However, it could really be very impactful to the environment per se.
Absolutely. Yes.
Mhm. So yeah, it's great. It's really great. So what else can I ask about it? So you've already mentioned if
I know I covered too much. Well, I could tell you about some of the other work I've been doing.
no, that's fine. That's fine. This is all about your advocacy, and I really love your advocacy. So, if I may say that.
Thank you so much. That really means a lot.
All right, so we have another question in here coming from Mark. Once again, hi Mark, thank you for staying with us. And here you go. How will you encourage people to be responsible buyers in terms of fashion?
That's a great question. So, avoiding fast fashion is really important if you're able to. And I'll circle back to what I mean by that. But, making resources available and letting people be aware of where you buy your sustainable pieces. Because the idea is that you buy something that is quality and better made, and then it lasts you longer and it doesn't end up in a landfill. If you just double the life of your clothing, you're helping you're helping lower the amount of clothing that ends up in a landfill. So if you can purchase something that can help you double, triple, quadruple the life of a piece of clothing, that's amazing. But one issue there is we do talk about how awful, fast fashion is, but for so many people, fast fashion is the only option. They don't have the $60 to buy the pair of jeans that might last them 5 years, but they have the $20 to buy the pair of jeans that will last them 6 months. And they need clothes. They've got to get
That's it.
something for their kids, for school, for work. So I never want to demonize people that participate in fast fashion, because there are so many people who, because of their socioeconomic status, they don't have the luxury of making sustainable choices. So many
That's right.
sustainable choices are just not affordable for the majority of people. So I don't want to demonize that. But if somebody is lucky enough to be able to make these choices, then there are so many websites and blogs that you can head to that will show you where to buy sustainable clothing and companies that really consider the environment when they produce and when they, get products out to the people.
That's right. You know what? I can definitely agree with you, and if I can definitely relate with what you just mentioned a while ago. From choosing to buy a quality quality clothing over the how shall I say, the cheaper ones.
Hmm.
Yeah, let me just say it that way, because everyone could definitely understand that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because well, to be honest, there are actually people who would rather choose to buy cheaper fashion or cheaper clothing than of buying a how shall I say, a very expensive clothing, right? Yeah,
Hmm.
it may take a longer lifespan for the clothing, but however, the fashion is just like what we have mentioned. It's actually fast. It's actually um it keeps on changing. It constantly changing. Actually, the fashion constantly changing. So it
Hmm.
doesn't really matter if you have to buy the trend, the latest trend, or the shall I say, the lasting quality, just for the lasting quality, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, that's just my point in this fast fashion. That's basically one of the most movement that we are actually hearing right now when it
Hmm.
comes to helping the environment.
Hmm. Yeah.
All right. So what else do we have here? We have actually a message from a comment coming from Ralph. Great show and interview for us. Oh, thank you so much for
Thanks,
that.
Ralph. You're always
Thanks,
the
Ralph.
sweetest. We appreciate you.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it, Ralph. Thank you so much for that. Oh, we have a question from Weng Weng. Savannah, what do you want? To be loved or to be respected, and why?
Respected. I want to be respected. Love is great, but I want to be respected. I want to be taken seriously. I think that a lot of people might think that a woman would choose love, but I think a lot of women would choose respect because it's something we all have to fight for a little bit harder than maybe the next person. Um, you know, a lot of people underestimate a woman, and a lot of people immediately assume that we aren't as capable as a man. So, respect is incredibly important to me, and it's something I work very hard to achieve. And I hope I have the respect of a lot of people. And if not, that's fine. I'll just keep working. But respect over love, absolutely.
I would rather, yeah, I agree with you, but I would have to somehow um, add some points on that. Like, if someone definitely respects you, that person definitely love you.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Well, if I can have both,
Oh,
I want
yeah, that's
both.
right.
But if I've got to
Because
choose,
yeah, right.
yeah,
So respect comes with love.
absolutely, I agree.
Right. So we have a message from Mark. Savannah is very inspirational, focusing on specific advocacy is achievable and impactful. That's right. She is definitely be able to inspire a lot of people. She could really. Mhm.
Thank you,
All right.
Mark.
Thank you so much. So let's move on to our next segment, and I believe that everyone is waiting for this. Are you ready for our challenge? For my challenge, rather, Savannah.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, good. So let me just share this screen for you. Okay, there you go. Okay, can you see that on your end?
I did for a second. Now it says it's loading.
All
Okay,
right.
now I see it. Pick a box.
Catch you both next time and see you later on the Pageant Project Savannah. Oh, you have an event. I
Oh,
will
yeah,
do
I
some
do.
paperwork here. Yeah. So thank you so much, Ralph. Thank you
Hi,
for staying
Ralph.
up with us. Go ahead. You can do some paperwork of yes. All right. So yeah, it's a pick a box segment. So in here, we actually have 6 boxes, or shall I call it mystery boxes. So here you go. You can see 6 mystery boxes right here. Okay. And for each box, there is a corresponding question.
Okay.
Okay. So I just want to give you a hint for this, that each question and that each box is actually about a Miss Earth um, winning question actually. All right?
Okay. So it's like an onstage question.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, that makes me so nervous. Okay.
Really?
Yes, it does. Okay. No, but I can do it. I got this. Okay. So
So
just do I click it or do I just tell you a number?
yeah, just tell me the number, which I'll just ask you to pick at least three, one after the other. All right?
Okay.
Are you ready, Savannah?
No.
Not yet.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um okay, four. I picked 4.
Number 4. All right. So let's have number 4 here. So there are many people, including some notable international leaders, who still do not believe in climate change. I think I've asked you about this already. How would you convince them about the seriousness of this problem?
I would show them the facts and the science, just like I told you before.
Uh-huh.
It's so important. I truly believe that if somebody doesn't believe in climate change, they just don't have the right information. So I'd have to present them with that and show them where the sources came from, show them the science behind it. And I know that that would be enough to convince someone.
All right. See, it's just very easy. All right. So what would be your next pick?
Okay. 3.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't able to give you the virtual clap a while back.
That's okay. I know that you were clapping in your heart.
Yeah, I do. So here's a question. Um, this was actually asked to Karen Ebasco in 2017. Okay, so what is the biggest enemy or the enemies of Mother Earth?
I think that my answer is actually what she said. I believe she said that we are the biggest enemies.
That's right.
Is that what she said? Yeah, I remember watching that. And that's just so true. I mean, like I mentioned when I talked about the difference between climate change and global warming, the difference is the rate, and the rate that it's increasing is because of us. It's because of the greenhouse gases that we're allowing to be pumped into the air. It's because of how irresponsible we are with this earth and with the materials that we have, our air and our atmosphere. We are definitely the number one cause, but that's fantastic because that means that we can do something about it. You know, we can be the solution. If we're the problem, we can flip it on its head and do something about it.
Perfect. Okay, this must be the last pick.
Okay, this is not as bad as I thought. Okay. um, 1.
Number 1. Are you sure for this?
No. Why do you say that? What do you know?
No, I'm just asking.
Okay, yeah. I'm gonna stick with 1. Final answer.
All right, here we go. What you would do as a winner to reverse the effects of global warming? So it was asked in 2014.
You know, I would stick with what I'm passionate about, and that's making use of the landfills that are they're creating so much greenhouse gases that are just ending up in our air, and you know they're doubling in sizes. They're added to every day. So I think I would work on that and trying to make use of the waste that's actually in the landfills. You know, trying to make those landfills smaller themselves, prevent production by making use of these landfills. One of the things I would love to do as Miss Earth USA, if I'm lucky enough to win, is to create a road, because textile waste is a huge part of my platform. And I've learned that you can actually build an entire road, like one that you drive on, out of textile waste. I would love to build a road out of textile waste and call it Miss Earth USA Boulevard or Miss Earth USA Road, because it would be a statement and it would draw attention to this organization and what we're doing and what the opportunities that it gives women and how we are affecting the environment in a positive way.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, there is a, I don't know if it's only in the Philippines. They're actually here in the Philippines that they're turning the waste. Yeah, they're turning the waste into brick actually.
Into
So
bricks.
yes, that's right.
Oh, that's so cool. See, there's so many things that we can do if we're creative with the waste where we can just start getting rid of these landfills and working on ways to cut down waste in general. I mean, it's such a hopeful and fascinating thought, don't you think?
That's right. That's right. Everything's actually possible when we only get to do something or somehow reflect on things that we are basically using and turn it to something useful.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's for you. Actually, that's not for me.
What? That's so cool.
No, I
Oh,
mean
that's
the cool. This one is actually for you, and the clap was actually for you as well.
oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you so much for playing with me, Savannah, and I really appreciate this. I
No
really
problem. Sorry for
appreciate
freaking out. I thought that was going to be so much more nerve-wracking than it was, but I think I handled it pretty good. What do you think?
you did, you did handle it very well, and I really appreciate your honesty and of course your time, of course, and yeah, Linnell, thank you so much um for setting this schedule for us. Okay, with of
Oh,
course Savannah.
I appreciate you having me. This really means a lot to me. I mean, I'm really honored that you took out, part of your day to speak to me. I know it's kind of late over there, so I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity to have an audience to speak to have, an audience that I normally wouldn't have a chance to reach. So, I mean, thank you, really.
You're very much welcome, of course, Savannah. And Savannah, if you would like to give any message to anyone you would like to address to, so this is the time for you to send them messages. And of course, you can also take this time to promote your projects, your social media platforms, or even the business if you have any business.
Well, if you guys want to follow my journey, keep up with the work that I'm doing, and learn more about my project, you can go to my Instagram page. It's at Miss South Carolina Earth. So South Carolina is SouthCarolina. I'm giving y'all time to write it down. So I hope you go and follow me. You can learn so much about the work I've been doing and some of the other projects outside of Jeans for Teens. As far as shout outs, hi mom. I don't know if you're watching, but hi mom. Hi Uncle Dan. My uncle is actually really supportive of me in pageants. He did a lot of speech and debate growing up, so he works with me a lot. He really was not into pageants at all. They were not his thing. I actually don't think he had a very good view of them. But this year he came to me and he said, "You know what, Savannah? I was wrong about pageants." And I just want to say sorry because I've seen how much you've grown and how much they've done for you. So I want to say hey to him and hey to
Yeah.
just everyone who's been supporting me.
hmm And pageant actually already evolved from like just pretty face, beautiful body. So this
Yeah.
time, pageantry is actually spokesperson. So
Oh,
yeah,
absolutely.
hmm
Hmm.
that's really pageantry actually has a big platform. Uncle Dan,
Yeah.
just kidding.
Oh my God. I can't wait for him to see this.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And thank you so much as well to all our viewers. If you are new to our channel, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. So you can also subscribe on our Facebook page, and we will definitely give you more pageant fix as well. So that pageant fix, by the way, so that you can also get updated on pageant events. All right. So what else? You can also follow our Facebook page and send the stars, please. Just kidding. Yeah, you can definitely send stars to us so that we can make use of that as well to sustain or maintain our streaming subscription as well. All right, so please do follow us on all our other media social media platforms, which is we are on Instagram and TikTok or even on Twitter. So please do follow us, guys, for more pageant updates. All right. Thank you so much for staying up for staying with us for more than 1 hour and 30 minutes, more than 1 hour rather. So thank you so much for staying with us, for tuning in, and we will see you once again on our next episode. Bye and good night.
I thank y'all.
Thank you, world, by the way.